Welcome back to Angel and Angela, and on this topic, I'm going to talk about how the new supply is nothing but a slave, or nothing but a slave to the narcissist. The narcissist views the new supply as a slave, as someone who they control. The narcissist is not going to go anywhere where they feel like they're being controlled. And even if that person might feel like they're controlling the narcissist, right? They're kind of bossing the narcissist around, or they're telling the narcissist, to open their door, or, do things that a gentleman should do, right? The narcissist doesn't see that as being a slave. They see that as, you could see it as I'm acting different for this person, but they know that they're in charge, they're in control. They know that, like you got certain people, certain supplies who have more than the narcissist, which is, especially when you're dealing with a low bottom narcissist and that person has more than them, that person starts to give all of themselves, like, because they want the narcissist to feel like the man, right? They want the narcissist to feel like they're in control no matter what. They, I'm gonna be feminine. I'm gonna, let you, I'm gonna let you take control. I want you. I'm gonna be the opposite of what other women do. Other women, you know, they won't let you get your shine because those women are jealous of you. They're insecure. I'm not gonna be like that insecure woman. I want you to shine. I'm not gonna be like that, right? They're basically competing with someone that they don't know. They're competing with the ex. They're competing with other people. They're believing the lies because the truth of the matter is that person was a slave to the narcissist, just like you, doing the same shit you're doing. So when the narcissist is listening to the new supply, they're kind of like, yeah, bitch, I already know. Like, this is my lifestyle. Like, this is me. This is what it is. Like, you're a slave to me. I already know. You're just like the rest of them. You're just like every other female I've been with. And they'll that source of supply doesn't know that they're a slave, and that the narcissist, they're gonna do what they want to do. They're gonna keep doing what they do. They're not gonna change their ways. If they get an opportunity to cheat or to have someone who knows their what's going on in their life and doesn't care, they're, of course, they're going to take that opportunity, especially if they feel like it's beneficial. If it's not beneficial, they're not going to take that chance. They're not going to risk losing their slave. And this is why the moment that you're ready to leave and they don't have that new supply secured, or things are rocky with that new supply, this is why they'll come back and they'll say things, like, I fucked up, I was wrong. Like, maybe this is what I deserve. Like, they'll say things where it's like you're kind of thinking like, yeah, motherfucker, that's what you deserve, right? But because you're tied into the emotions of going through the ups and downs with this person, you're not realizing that you didn't do nothing to them. You're not realizing that the fact that they're insinuating that, hey, I guess this is what I get, like Like, oh, this is what I get. Everything has caught up to me. I've lost control of my slave. You know the truth. Even if I play it out, it don't really matter, because eventually you're gonna put the pieces together, and you're gonna realize that everything that I've taught my little slave, I'm the person that they should be more worried about more than anybody else. I'm the big villain in their life. I'm the one making sure that you don't get out of this situation well. I don't want you to be able to get out of this situation in good health, and going on with your life like I didn't exist. I need to do some damage because I wasn't ready, or because you might do something to me. You might accuse me of something. You might try to get me in trouble. You might, you might try to mess up what I got going with the new supply. So I have to purposely bring you down because you're my slave, and I can do that. I can do whatever I want to do. I've been doing what I wanted to do from the start, and I'm going to continue doing what I want to do because I've done this before, and I always win in the end. I always win. There's many of you. There's many women like you who say the same things, just like there's many narcissists out here. There's many women like you who say and do the same thing. You are my slave. And now I don't need you no more. There's nothing that I'm about to go to. Being a narcissist, it's a business. Don't take it personal. Being a narcissist is a full-time job. There's no rest. How can I rest? I need supply. I need a slave. I need a slave to make my life better. I need a slave. So whether I stay at home and, the narcissist's dream would be staying at home, cooking, cleaning, and you work. They feel like, hey, they're going to put it in your head. People can judge us. They can say what we want, but we're a happy family. We don't have any problems. Like, things, we live in a different world. As long as we make it work, we make it work. And that woman might feel like, hey, this is better than how my life was before. At least I work and get to come home to my kids, my husband, my a home cooked meal. I don't even have to cook. I get to come home and the food ready. The narcissist is like, yeah, that's what I wanted. You're my slave. I'm going to put it in your head, though, that we're in this together. Yeah, I am. I'm going to try to build myself up. I'm going to try to do other things for myself outside of this. I'm going to search for the perfect supply and drag that relationship for years until I'm ready to move on. Control them, feed them how I think, how I move. Make them a version of myself so that they can know what I like and what I don't like. And I'm going to need them to listen. As long as they're a good listener. You know, this person I'm with, they don't listen. They want to boss me around and tell me what to do. And that person is thinking like, what did I do wrong? I've done everything. How have I bossed you around? How have I treated you wrong? Oh, you look down on me because I don't got this or I don't got that. You look down on me. What? But you did all this. You knew I did this for you. For us. You're nothing but a slave to the narcissist. New Supply is nothing but a slave. I've had narcissists who told me, You know, I've been married twice. I'm never going to get married again. The first time I was having an outer body experience. The second time, I'm like, I'm just here for the party. It's about me, the party. That was really it. And the fact that her family got ties that can help better my life. And all I got to do is kiss up to her daddy and be his best friend. And she's looking at the daddy. She's looking at the narcissist. She like, oh man, they get along so well. Whole time the narcissist hates your dad. Hates him. But he has to get in good with him. So that it could almost seem like that's his dad and you're the outsider. I'm telling you, like, these people, they're like, part of the game with the narcissist is that it's to be sold, not told. So you could see so many people in different races, different ages, going through these crazy different stories and encounters with these people, and sometimes it's the people closest to them. And you're like, wow, how could these, how can people still be falling for this shit? It don't make no sense. How can they not fall for it when they grew up with these people, or they went to school together, or they're living in the moment and they're not looking at people as being monsters or inhumane, right? And you feel like, hey, there's a limit to someone's bullying, right? Or you might feel like, hey, you're an adult, that bully shit is over with, we're adults now. Like, right? So many different things that you could say, why people keep falling for this? Because the game is to be sold and not told. There's narcissists, right, that are teenagers right now, right, or children, and you can see it coming. Narcissists, a lot of narcissists, they plan ahead. They even create these little monsters to be who they are. They instill hate in them. They have plans for them. They have plans for their slaves, right? They ain't bringing a baby in the world to have a good time. They're bringing a baby in the world saying, "Oh, you're gonna be a good slave. You're gonna do. This is my plan for you. This is what I'm gonna do to put you to work. This is what your job is going to be. This is what your role is going to be in the family." They're planning ahead. When the narcissist goes with the new supply, they're planning ahead. The person they're like a deer stuck looking at the headlights, because a lot of times they knew about you and they didn't care because they feel like they got chosen, right? They're the chosen one. They were the real soulmate and you were the fake one. So it's like they're basically forever going to be competing with the people the narcissist is attached to. So if they have children, multiple kids, multiple baby mamas, if they have, they've been married, or, they have a long-term relationship they were in, and the narcissist has made certain things aware to them, or that person might not know how many partners the narcissist has had. They act like they're innocent, right? But they've been around the block so many times, and they're using everything to manipulate this person and to make them feel like they're innocent, and to make them feel like they are the greatest love of their life, right? Like there's, like this was the moment I've been waiting for, type of thing. So while that person is thinking about how to be the narcissist, everything, how to be their light, they're not even aware that from the start they saw them as a slave, as a tool, as supply, right? Like no one falls in love with people that fast. No one really, like, when you leave the narcissist and you feel fucked up, even if you're thinking, well, the person who suffers is the one who cared, right? But no, the person who's a dumper, that person can suffer too. But when they're a narcissist, they're not gonna suffer at all. Like, they're not gonna feel bad at all. When they're not a narcissist, yeah, they might feel fucked up. They might not feel as bad as you feel, of course, but they're not gonna try to drag you through the mud some more. They're not gonna laugh at you. They're not gonna try to send you explicit pictures and like cause more damage, or like sometimes they'll even use like their friends and like women to contact you and tell you, hey, leave the narcissist alone. Me and him are together. And you don't know that the narcissist is getting other women and people to contact you, because they don't want you to mess up what they got going on. They'll go to every extent, right? Changing their look, changing where they live, changing what they drive, changing their cars, changing their phone number. They'll go to every extent when they've sold when someone has bought the narcissist's old raggedy car that's not worth a thing, right? Who they got a lot of miles on it, it's beat up, but they've decided, hey, but it's a classic, I can fix it up, knowing they can't fix it up. Knowing they can't fix it up, but they'll try to, and it's like no matter how much you try, it's like man, just burn a bitch up, just get another one, just burn a whole house down, like just sell this house, just get a new house. Why are you here? Right? They don't know that they just bought something, they just invested in something that is going to make their stock market value drop, because they don't have a clue that the narcissist views them as a slave, meaning that if that person is successful, the narcissist sees themselves as being successful. Like, I've had narcissists where they'll just tell you like, oh, my wife does this, my girlfriend does that, and I'm like wondering like, why did they tell me that? Right? I'll just think to myself like, why did they say that? Because they're like, oh, I got a slave nurse, I got a slave doctor, I got a slave teacher. I ain't worth shit, but they're worth a lot, and I got them, and if they're worth a lot, I'm worth a lot, because what's theirs is actually mine, and even and we make it work with however we make it work, right? Because that person don't have a clue that my intentions are different, that um I see them as having value, of course, but I see them as a pet. I see them as something I need to train, something I need to watch, something I need to you know um give commands to, that something that needs to know my every need, and needs to hop on one leg and clap and bark like a dog. You know what I'm saying? So you know women will do this because of traditions, because of values, because they feel like they want to live, they want to be, they want to be wives, they want to be mothers, they want the experience, right? So part of me going through it with the narcissist is understanding, like, how narcissists view people as slaves, as supplies, slaves and tools, and they're always planning ahead. They're creating your storyline according to what they fit. Oh, you're gonna do this now. If you don't want to do this, and you're defiant, then I'm gonna punish you, and I'm gonna make you learn things the hard way. Like, you're like a dog, like someone they're training, someone they're playing games with, right? Someone they're playing games with. Instead of giving you a treat and telling you, oh, sit here, do this, they're like, you don't do this, I'm gonna hit you. I'm gonna intimidate you. I'm gonna make you feel like, don't fuck with me. Like, don't you? I'm someone not to be fucked with, right? And you could feel like you're someone who, you you don't let people bully you around, but you'll allow and forgive a lot of these people because they've instilled forgiveness in you. They've taught you things. They've gotten together, created groups, created codes, created a fucking illusion to make you believe that this is what you want and this is how you should live. And not once will they tell you the truth about themselves, because that's part of the secret. It's not to be for them to tell you, it's for you to have to see it and understand, because to them it's like, I can tell you why I'm doing all these things, but you're going to see me as being evil. So I want you to go through some things in your life, and then you're going to see that, hey, yeah, it might be bad that I think this way, but you see how it benefits you. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's like they're always trying to instill certain things and create certain things, and even put out there certain stereotypes and divide people and put hate in one another. But it's all created so that the narcissist can separate all their slaves how they feel. Like, I need to separate all my slaves without doing it physically, because if I do it physically I can get in trouble, right? If I still have to make people believe like they have rights, and make them feel like the choices that they're creating are the choices that they're creating, even though I'm the one who is giving them options. And really, they don't need to take these options. They can create their own. But these options, they're going to choose from these options because they're not going to see anything outside of that. They're not going to see anything outside of the world I've created for them. You know, hey, stay away from these type of people. Hey, this person is bad. Hey, you see someone in your family going through a hard time, people are going to tell you stay away from them like they're a disease, right? Because and that person might just be they didn't do nothing, or they were a victim of something, or life is just slapping them in the ass. But people will be like, hey, stay away from them, like, yeah, like they have um you know some type of infection that can infect you, because it's like the whatever that person did, the way they're thinking is someone you want to stay away from. And that person might learn from their mistakes and become a stronger person, but while they're going through it, they're like, no, stay away from them. And even when they reach success, they're like, stay away from them. And then they become haters, and they're like, stay away from them, like, because you weren't down for them when they were going through it, so what's the point on coming around them when now they're having success? We didn't even expect them to become successful, so stay away from them. But in reality, right, um those narcissists are controlling those people, and they even see it as them doing those people a favor, like them directing people's destinies, using them as a tool. They feel like, if anything, I'm doing you a favor. I'm teaching you things. Even if I'm teaching you hard lessons, I'm teaching you a lot about the world. I'm giving you tools that can help you when you're confused. I might not, so they might feel like, hey, at least I took you to church, because that can help balance the way you perceive the world, right? And they might feel like that can teach you not to judge me, because life is not what it seems sometimes. So that'll make you feel like, okay, you know, I can't judge the people I'm around. So when you see people that are like, they know the narcissist ain't shit, they know the narcissist is that, but because that's their brother, or that's their mother, or they are close, they just stick around and they don't say shit. If it was me, I wouldn't even talk to someone like that. You know what I'm saying? So they'll have certain ties where they're like a slave to that person, because they still see them as their sibling, as their son, as their kid. They still see them as, we're tied to one another through blood, through whatever, right? Through children, through whatever. They don't know that the narcissist sees them as a slave. Like, the narcissist sees themselves as a slave. Like, they hate their own life sometimes. They hate their own reality. They wish they weren't who they are, or they were put in a different circumstance, or they wish the people around them were one way, or they're ashamed or embarrassed about their upbringing, or embarrassed about the people around them, instead of trying to understand and learn ways to get out and still have empathy for those people, right? So, you can get to a point where you might empathize with those people, but they might not empathize with you. They might even feel like you're offending them. You're offending their lifestyle. You're offending their reality, that they can't do nothing about it anymore. You know what I'm saying? So they might feel like you're offending them, like they did the best that they can do. So some people will decide, I don't want to deal with this. And then some people decide, hey, like, you know, I'm a slave to this shit, and I'm already here, and all I could do is do the best of it. Like, some people are like, why am I here? And I'm gonna just start all over, and they're pissed. They want to recreate their whole identity. They want to act brand new. They want to act like they didn't do the stuff that they did in their past. Like, they want to act like brand new, right? But to the narcissist, they see it as, whatever you see them as, they feel like you don't know them. They feel like, you don't know me. You don't know the real me. The real me is like, I'm this great person. I'm this, like, person that just needed a chance. I'm just this person that, like, I'm just the talent that was never found, right? Like, you know, because everyone wants their children and people to be great, but the narcissist also understands, like that the people around them didn't want that for them, or the people around them overloaded them with that shit. So they really believe like they're somehow special, and hey, they take self-esteem to another level, to a diabolical level, where it's like there's an imbalance of right and wrong, and it's like they understand right and wrong, but they feel like they've gotten away from doing the opposite, lying. They've gone away with that shit for so long, and it's like, to them, doing that has been more rewarding to them than doing the right thing. And by now, it's like that has became their vibration. That's the vibration they're on. That's why when your vibration is differently, you try to do some shit that they would do, you're gonna get caught. You're gonna get in trouble real quick. You can't do what they do. You got to be yourself. So, you know, when you're dealing with these people, they're looking at it. Even when I think that's one of the things that I learned. Is like, when you're with a narcissist, you're learning one another, right? And you feel like you found someone that understands you, or who, things that you speak to them about, they understand it, and they can break it down to the smallest molecule, right? Or atom. So you're like, this person knows a lot, and you might look up to them, you feel connected to them, but you don't know what their morals, how they really view life. They're just someone that has a lot of information, and they use certain information to benefit them, but you're thinking that this is part of their personality and who they are, and they feel like the information that they know has nothing to do with their identity, right? They're like, my physical body, how I look. To them, you're dealing with a spirit. You're dealing with a spirit. And it needs a slave. It needs energy. You're dealing with someone who's hungry for energy. And so they're looking at the supply, and they're looking at people, their family members, the people around them. They see them all as slaves. They see everyone as a slave. They feel like, yeah, that's my mom, but she's not really my mom. Like this world ain't real, and fucking she made choices from the start because she's in a she doesn't know why she's doing what she's doing. My parents didn't know why they did what they did. My parents don't understand this world. My parents are stuck on traditions and certain things. Um, and I could have been anyone or anyone. This just happened to be my life this lifetime. So in this lifetime, yeah, they're my parents, but they're not really my parents. But I gotta use them as tools to get what I want. I know my mother has unconditional love for me, so I have to use that as my advantage. So even if I use and manipulate other women and it backfires on me, at least I still have my mother, because I know she's going to give me that unconditional love no matter what I did, even if it's wrong. And I'm gonna use that as my advantage to make other people jealous, to so that they can know, hey, I can't be broken. I still got energy. I still got slaves and people around me. That's why these people could die, and the narcissist, they've already made plans ahead of time, and to them it's like they can have sex with you that same night, and it's like you're thinking like, isn't this person supposed to be sad? They see people as slaves. Being around the narcissist, that's what I started to see about them, because they would say little things like that, and you know, they have a lot of information, right? So things that already, they will put it in a perspective where you're like intrigued, like, you feel connected to them. So they can sit there and say, hey, when you're born, your parent gives your rights away to the government. You become the government's property, and then your parents are being charged for having a baby. Like, who the fuck gets charged for bringing a baby in this world? Like, how can you get charged with hospital bills just for bringing a baby, and you're the motherfucker who wants to document my every move? You're the motherfucker that want to document just to give me some papers and make me feel like, here, these are the papers you need because you're from here, and really it's just to keep track of what's going on in my life, and making me sign an agreement, and making me sign my rights for me to understand that I'm a slave, and that my child will also be a slave just like me, and that I'm taking responsibility over them to make sure that they will work hard in this life and be good people, right? So the narcissist will say things and break shit down and make you have a connection with them. And so the game is to be the game is to be sold. So the game is to be sold, not told, right? So yeah, they're telling you this shit, but while they're telling you this shit, you're not thinking nothing of it. You're just thinking, the motherfucker has information. I got information. I understand where you're coming from. You feel like you found someone who's like you, who understands things, but who empathize with the people around them, that that they have the same type of loyalty, and that they're trying to make the best out of this life with you, right? That's what you're thinking. They're trying to make the best out of this life. We're making plans for the future, but the narcissist is making other plans, because they're not telling you this shit just to tell it to you. They're telling it to you because they're selling you a dream. So that's what the narcissist does with the new supply. The new supply is a slave, and they're selling them a dream. So I hope that this message made sense. And I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you guys enjoyed this, hit the thumbs up. Leave your comments, your thoughts below. Subscribe if you guys are new. And I will be, starting up my sessions and my things going, with uploading more, you guys, because I know I've been MIA, but, you know, if you guys have any ideas, any topics you guys want me to get into, leave it down below, and I will talk to you guys on the next one. Love you guys. Bye.